Hey everybody, how you doing? So today's Friday. I'm in Florida and I'm going for my first IV stem cells. Yeah, go figure, right? So you know what? Sometimes medical and scientific breakthroughs aren't really breakthroughs like most of the time, but I truly believe that stem cell therapy is a scientific, nutritional breakthrough. And I want you to come along with me, because come along for the ride, okay? We're gonna go see Dr. Nairi, okay? And you're gonna find out that this is an amazing medical woman that really knows how to heal, okay? So here we go. Hang in there. As soon as I get changed. Okay, so this is her clinic, HAV Wellness Center. And oh, there she is. I saw her. She knows I'm coming, okay? Anyway, so yeah, this is going to be my first IV stem cell treatment. Hi. Hi, Dr. Nairi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Oh, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Well, come on in, everybody.
Come on
and
in.
Let's check this out. Okay, so where are we going?
We're going into the IV room.
Oh, into the IV room. Okay, all right. Okay.
Right in there.
Okay, everyone, I'm just gonna switch things around a little bit and plug in. Okay. See, this is how they know that it's we're really doing this and it's live, because it's so messy. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. All right. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing? Okay, so why don't you tell everybody where your clinic is and what your clinic is called?
Okay. So I am Dr. Nairi and I am based in Tarpon Springs, Florida, and my clinic is called Dr. Nairi. It is also known as Medical Masters Institute of Anti-Aging and Wellness if you look it up online. And I'm in Tarpon Springs. I also have a second office in Spring Hill, Florida as well. And I'm originally from New York.
There you go. So, okay, so for me and for them, can you tell me, is stem cell therapy, where did it come from and what's the purpose? And can you, well, you know what to say.
Okay. So stem cell therapy, believe it or not, has been around for a very, very long time. It's now become way more popular, especially with joints and things that are more structural, but it really has been around for many, many years. People have been doing different forms of it. I will be honest, there was a long time where we were not allowed to do this type of therapy in the United States because of FDA approval. That has changed over the past few years. So when I first started practicing medicine...
Can I ask you why you weren't allowed?
We weren't allowed because the FDA wanted to make sure that all the regulatory and compliance pieces were in place so that they felt comfortable. So I had a lot of patients going to different places like Mexico, South America, and getting these treatments because of the vast benefits, especially for my little ones with autism and different types of, different types of chronic ailments that there weren't very many options for in the United States outside of pharmaceuticals.
Okay, all right. So why don't you tell us about the stem cell therapy that you do, and what is it? Is there a lot of different ones, a different way? Okay.
Sure. So there are a lot of different ways that you can do stem cells. You can obtain stem cells from your own body, from adipose tissue, from bone marrow, from different parts of yourself. The issue with that becomes that if you are a chronically ill person or with age, the quality of your stem cells isn't very good. So using it to heal another part of your body is not as successful.
So trying to take an unhealthy person and use what they are is only going to give you what you got already. Right.
Yeah,
that sounds logical.
So the stem cells that I use actually come from placentas, and they are placentas that have been donated by mothers, and they are checked in every way to make sure that there's no infectious components.
So just to make this really clear, is that the placentas were either going to be disposed of or they're going to be utilized to save someone's life, make someone healthier, make them feel younger. Yeah. So let's be really clear about that. Yeah. And that's why I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful gift that they're giving.
Yeah. Well, I guess it is, eh? I mean, that's the tree of life right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so the stem cells, for example, that I am doing today with Dr. Darrell, I'm going to be doing some adult stem cells as well as exosomes. So
Do you know why? She feels that I need to be a little bit more mature, okay? And I don't blame her. Okay.
yeah, we need a little extra for
Why
him.
why adult stem cells?
So the stem cells that we're obtaining from the placenta, the ones that I'm using, come from a layer that surrounds the umbilical cord called the Wharton's jelly. And they've found that the stem cells are just so much more concentrated there. So when you think of stem cells, think of a baby, you know, and when the sperm and the egg come together and it starts dividing, how this beautiful unicellular entity becomes all of these cells. And though the reason that happens it's because stem cells are giving that embryo the information that it needs to reproduce for the parts of your body that needs to be a hand or a finger, for it to be the right information to develop that. So we're talking pure potential light and information in these cells.
Well, that's what happens right about there. When that union happens, that's the purest form of light. And hey, would I want anything else?
Definitely not.
No.
So the stem cells that I'm using are coming from that aspect, as well as another component called exosomes. So exosomes have been getting all the hype lately, and the exosomes are these little vesicles that exist on every cell in our body, and they actually carry all of the cellular signaling information that tells the stem cells what to do. Here's the beautiful thing about exosomes. Adult stem cells cannot cross the blood-brain barrier, but the exosomes can. So when we have toxicity in our brain, or there's parts of us that we need to heal, because we all know by the time we're a certain age, we've had changes there, the exosomes can cross the blood-brain barrier.
And they are, again, what are the exosomes?
So they're these tiny little vesicles that contain cell signaling information that exists.
Right.
And they get kind of sent off, and they direct, so they're like the conductor of the orchestra. And they're the ones actually telling the adult stem cells and all the different parts of us what to do and where to go. So they're both really integral. There's a synergy when you do them together.
Beautiful.
And that's why you're getting both.
That's why I'm getting both. Because somebody's got to tell me what to do. All right. So how long have you been doing this for?
So I have been doing, so I'm a medical doctor, just so that you're aware, and I've been doing holistic alternative therapies for about 20 years now. And my journey was a little bit different because I started off as what I refer to as an energy medicine woman. And I was kind of born with the ability, similar to Darrell, to what I call interpret the in-between spaces a little bit more directly and really use that part of me, my intuition.
Can you explain what that is, though?
Sure. So for me, when I say energy medicine woman, it's really being aware in my beingness and in the way I practice with my patients, that I'm realizing and accepting and implementing the fact that what I see before me is coming from the things that I don't see. The physical ailments, the emotional stuck places, everything is coming from belief systems, generational places. It's all coming from the parts of us that we're not seeing, our energy, spiritual selves, and those are the things that are manifesting physically. So for me, I tell my patients, I'm here to create long-lasting change with you, and the way that I want to do that is by going into the in-between spaces. So energy medicine for me is really sitting with that place, spending time with them, doing some healing ceremonies and different things that we do in those aspects that will then aid their physical being. The physical is the end point, it's not the beginning.
Yeah, it's so true that if you look at your illness or your healing or your life as a physical thing, you've just missed out on the biggest part of you. And you know, we are light energy beings. We are walking, talking batteries. And what we think, drink, eat, and do either restores that or drains that. And understand something, to find a medical doctor, right, that is going to work in that field, you really want to think twice and do that, because you can't give what you're not. And you need someone to go in there and show you what you are. And believe it or not, like I always say, only 1 out of 10,000 people will ever discover what they truly are. And when you discover that, then nobody owns you.
Right.
Nobody will ever own you.
Right.
And understand something, and I'm talking about your family, I'm talking about society systems, and God loved them all, but the reality is that when you are really honoring the spirit within, then you will honor everything that is physical. Right. Yeah.
And I know throughout my journey, coming from a medical background, I felt like I didn't want to put a pharmaceutical band-aid on, and I certainly don't want to keep putting a natural band-aid on either. When we talk about really getting to the bottom of things, that's what I'm here to do. And I'm not going to get that done in a half hour or an hour sometimes with my patient. So, for example, I just created an event that I'm doing in March. It's called Vibe Up, because it's all about our vibration, right? That's where it starts. It's about getting our vibration up and creating from that place. So I teach people about really implementing the law of attraction, because, you know, Darrell, it's like we all know what we have to do, and everyone that comes in here says that, but they either feel stuck or they need a plan, or they really need to understand how the laws of the universe work, and that's kind of what I help them with.
Yeah, if you don't, you know what you want out of life, but if you don't become the magnet that attracts that, then don't ask yourself why it's not coming. And you know what? We're all going to come to this situation that it's not about treatment, because you're only good till the next treatment. But the reality is that's why you're so beautiful in what you do, is because you understand that it's training. You know, everyone needs to be trained on how to respect, honor, and love their body, but mostly, you know, we talk about how we understand about God, universe, but until we become that universal intelligence, then. And that's what you're doing with your course. Can you tell them about your Vibe Up? Because I don't even know about it. Vibe Up, optimal health, abundant wealth, and overflow of love and joy. Do you want some of that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Tell us what it is.
Yeah, so it is what I'm calling an experiential day. So this isn't just talking back and forth. This is putting ourselves in situations where we are going to be increasing our vibration. So I'm all about spending a half hour, an hour in my morning to create my day, create my life, because I'm so much more effective when I take the time to do that and create from that place than try and clean it up for the rest of the afternoon. So Vibe Up is all about having the experiences that put us in a place that we are optimal antennas, okay? And we're defining what it is that we desire, and we're manifesting from that place, which is so much more probable that it's going to occur. So for me, the people that are sharing that day, I'm telling you, you're going to leave there with what you want in your manifestation bubble. Then it's just a matter of you following through. So I'm really excited, because that lights me up. That's my ultimate passion, is sharing that with people, and I can't do that in a half hour.
So where are they going to go for information on that?
Sure. So maybe when we're done with this, can we put my info at the bottom, like the website or the?
Oh yeah, we can.
Yeah.
I'll go back in and I can retype it into, the thing up there.
Okay. Yeah, you're better at this than I am.
Yeah, but not much better.
Okay.
Okay, not much better.
Got it. I'll
All
give
right.
you credit for that part.
Fake it till you make it.
That's
They'll
right.
never know.
Yeah, so we'll definitely provide the information
Yeah.
for that event.
Yeah. But where can they go?
So they can go to, it's in Spring Hill, Florida. It's at the Welcome Home Center on March 28th. It's a Saturday from 9 to 6. And then there is a Facebook page. It's called Vibe Up with an exclamation mark. And drnyrie.com is my website. Doctor spelled out DOCTOR NYREE.com. And there's information on there also. But I'm just really excited to share this part, because the energy medicine woman will come out, and I know it's not in the words that are going to be said. It's just going to be all about the feeling.
Yeah, you know what? And here's the biggest thing about doing the work that we do. It's okay if I compare myself to you a little bit. Is that it is such a beautiful thing to be able to have people come where you can actually express your true self, and you put smiles on people's faces.
For sure.
All right.
For sure.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Okay. So yeah, we will. We'll put that up in the top. But what we're going to do is she's going to get me all set up here, and then we'll check in with you once we're into doing the IV, right?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because
So
I know that you're going to worry, and I don't want you to worry. I am going to be okay.
yeah, he is about to get the highest frequency of light. And think about what happens when something's vibrating really quickly and it gets in touch with something like a toxin. It's going to compel that toxin to move and to do something different. And that's really what we're working with, pure potential light.
Yeah, and here's the only thing that when we deal with this is you have to be prepared
Yes.
for that pure potential light, because you have to allow disruption. So look at it this way, it's called deconstruction to have better construction. So you have to be ready to see parts of yourself fall apart so that you can put it back together the way it was meant to be. So, you know, you got to watch what you ask for, and then be prepared to do that, because anything that's high vibrational is going to kick out the low vibrational. And that can happen in relationships too. Right. Okay. All right. So we'll be back at you, and thanks for joining.
Oh, sounds
Okay.
good. See you
We'll give
soon.
you a little poke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
he's about to get that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, guess what? Yep, I'm back. And take a look. You'll see. Do you want to explain these?
Sure. So these are the vials. One is the exosomes and one is the adult stem cells. And Darrell has been officially poked, so
See?
he's ready to go.
Yeah. And can you explain them again for anybody new that's coming on?
Sure. So what we have here is adult mesenchymal stem cells from Wharton's jelly, and then the other one is exosomes. And the exosomes.
And the Wharton's jelly is.
So the Wharton's jelly surrounds the umbilical cord in the fetus to provide cushioning and support.
Now that's where you want to get it from, because that's where the most concentrated light energy is. I mean, that's where you're plugged in to bring the spirit into the womb.
Yes. And the communication between the fetus and the mother, and think of all the things that are moving back and forth as far as information and the direction of the wisdom behind creating that new life.
Yeah.
It's being shared.
And everything
out
that
in
comes
space.
with it.
Yes. And that's all in here. Okay.
Yeah.
So I am going to get this ready, and then we're going to put it into his IV bag and start his IV. So one of the things I wanted to share that I feel is really important before we started, I had Darrell hold these and really set his intention for what it is that he would, wants for his life, any transformation, any gratitude, but really put his love and light as well, and create that synergy with what's going into him and the transformation that's going to lead for his joy.
That's right. And just so everybody knows, Dr. Nairi and myself, we've been talking, and if it's meant to be, which I truly hope it is, we will be working together in Ixtapa, Mexico, at a place called Ixtapa Palace, and it will be happening. It's months away, not years away, and where we will actually, she'll be coming down probably about a week every month, and she'll do her Vibe Up training with people that are coming in from all over the world. And we will be doing the stem cell therapy down there, but we won't be just doing this type of stem cell therapy, will we? We'll be doing other things as well, right?
Sure, all types of different intravenous programs and mindset programs that correlate with what you already teach.
Yes. Everything that we're going to be doing together is about is bringing the light in. Okay, go to the light, be the light. The sun, that's what it is. It's a light energy frequency power generator, and that's what you are. So everything is about bringing up your frequency and increasing your light, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to create this place in Ixtapa, and you can go and take a look at it. It's called Ixtapa Palace, and once we get there, we'll start making it our own. Okay, and I mean start making it our own. We'll start bringing things, changing things. But what we wanted to do is wanted to find a place that was beautiful, quiet, and safe, and we found that. And we have a 200 room resort, and it's not the type of resort that, it's not like a 5-star resort, but it's definitely a beautiful resort, and it's quiet, and it's in a peaceful town. And they're going to give us, they're giving us the opportunity to come down here and create something that is affordable for everyone. And what we want to do is we want to teach lifestyles, okay? Wouldn't it be great if you could come down for 1 week or even up to a month, and we could teach you what you really are, that beautiful shining star. And you know what? I'm not some kind of flake just saying this. I truly mean this. I live for this. And this is my dream, and I want to share that dream with everyone else. And I really truly believe that we'll have people coming from all over the world to this. And believe it or not, this is the first pilot project. This gentleman who has actually offered this resort to us, okay, has offered us a 5-story building, brand new. It's got elevators in it. I mean, it's gorgeous. And he was actually the developer. If you go on, you want to get a hotel, or you want to book a trip,
Yes.
him and his son invented that.
Wow.
And they have another 11 resorts around the world. That if this works out right, this is just a pilot project.
Sure. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, you know, it's synergy when people actually come together like this, right? So would you like to tell them other things about what we're doing here?
Sure. So I just started the IV. It's going to take just a moment to come through the tubing, and soon it's going to be entering his body. So most of the times, because we are doing this systemically, a lot of people are familiar with stem cells, for example, for a localized area like joints, the spine, even aesthetics or hair regeneration. So we're doing it intravenously because we want to help the whole body. And the reality is, if you are obtaining stem cells and you're doing a local area, I recommend that you at least do some of it and get it into your whole system. You want this to run through your entire body. So what can he expect? I'll speak for myself, and what I hear clinically from a lot of my patients is, as it starts to run through, you may feel a little bit of sensation in your head, for example, because these exosomes are crossing the blood-brain barrier. It's nothing uncomfortable. You just kind of feel relaxed and a little flighty, which might be fun for some people. And then I would say most of the effect comes afterwards. And there is a preparation program for this. So for those of you watching who are thinking about getting this done, you want to make sure that the person administering prepares you for this process. You want to really decrease the toxic load, because these cells are going to vibrate, bring that pure high frequency light next to something that's not so vibrant, and it's going to want to tell it it's time to leave the body.
Yeah, and if you understand it like this, okay, so the bigger the load, if the load is down here, like if you're vibrationally down here and you bring in the light way up here, okay, it might rock your world a little bit. So you have to prepare. Like when you put the needle in, can you tell what happened? Because yesterday I flew and I took off at 3:30 in the morning, and then I didn't get to my hotel last night until like around 11:45, right? And then I drank carrot juice and water all day. That was good, but I was still kind of like, you know.
Sure.
So what happened when you put the needle in?
So when I inserted the needle, and this was a pretty large vein, so there was an issue as far as getting a blood return, his vein automatically collapsed. And a lot of times I see that in my patients when there's inflammation going on, sometimes acutely, sometimes chronically, or maybe they could be just pushing the detox too hard. But I know Darrell and I know his history, and he's pretty clean overall. So this is probably stemming from the travels yesterday and the adventures of the hotel.
Yeah, which was good. It's a good adventure. Yeah, or maybe it was just the letdown of going to Nordstrom Rack and finding nothing there for myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so here we are.
Yeah. So I wanted to add about the preparation, because I was talking a little bit about that. I highly recommend all the different things, even for example that Darrell teaches with the different products that you can be on, doing things like your coffee enemas, all of the mindset pieces and the loving yourself, right? Those are the most important, and that's at the core of everything we're talking about. It's really critical to implement a plan before taking in this degree of light. So if you're thinking about doing this, please speak to someone you feel is informed. You are more than welcome to contact myself or Darrell for us to better advise you. But it's important to decrease that toxicity before this, because the Herxheimer reactions or other things that can happen may not be so fun. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
so if you see that happening to him.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that the more you can help to get rid of the issues in your tissues that were first in your mind, the better this is going to work. You know, when people take in anything, right, that is supplementation or has light energy, you know, where do you want it to go? Do you want it to go and to try to put out a fire, or do you want it to reconstruct a beautiful thing? So, you know, the energy's got to go somewhere. So the more that you can just peel that onion back, right? Yeah, and you know what? She's so absolutely right. You know, practice practice teaching yourself how to love yourself well. You know, I was talking to someone on the phone today, and this person really works on themselves, and I said, well then, you know what? Just try to do 24 hours and not say anything negative about yourself or the planet or anyone else, and just only focus on what you want in your life, and let's see if you can make it 24 hours. So she's going to let me know tomorrow if she can actually speak. So she's going to really have to watch, because, and I said, and also you have to watch. Do you ever notice when people go, I think? Don't think, know it. And the other thing is this, I also said to her, you know, do you ever notice when people say something, they'll say something positive and they'll finish off and ruin it with something like a backslap. That's your subconscious. So whatever you can do to start watching yourself. I'm getting a buzz right now.
Yeah.
Like flighty, like, let me see. Yeah. Right now it just hit. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is, because I really advise that he take this time for himself and kind of get into the energy of what his body's receiving, and allow yourself to have that moment.
Okay.
And we'll be back.
We'll be back. Bye. Hey everybody, welcome to part 3 of stem cell restoration, right?
Yes.
So do you want to tell them what's going on?
Sure. So we completed his IV stem cell trip, and then I just added a second bag. So this bag has glutathione in it, and I know you speak a lot about glutathione. So glutathione is one of the 3 major ways that we clean up the toxins in our body. It's kind of the garbage collector coming and cleaning up. So after we're done with the stem cell IV...
Can you tell them what glutathione does? Like what's it,
Sure.
How does it work?
Sure. So we have 3 systems in the body that will clean up toxicity, okay? So we have catalase, there's superoxide dismutase, and there's glutathione, and it's a free radical scavenger. And like the exosomes, glutathione has the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier. So we really especially like that one after a stem cell IV, because we've just released a lot of those fun, lower vibrating energies, and the glutathione can help take that and transport it out of the body, because we want to support as things are leaving as well.
Yeah, so you know, it's like this. You don't want to have that heavy burden, that heavy load on the body, and because your body can only do so much, like everything else. So we can only do so much. So if we're going to go in there and really do some really deep work, you know, we're going to have the cleanup crew so that we don't leave a mess after the party.
Yeah, and I'd highly recommend after this, I know you're traveling, definitely doing some coffee enemas and anything that you can do to support the liver and the other major detox organs. It just makes the healing that much more gentle. I was explaining to Darrell before that the beauty of these cells is they're going to keep replicating for the next couple of months. So this healing isn't just right now, right here. We're talking transformational, long-term change in your imprinting, change in your vibration.
Yeah, so it's like it creates a domino effect of cellular respiration, detoxification, regeneration. Yeah. So what else would you like to tell them?
So I'd like to maybe share a little bit more about the preparing for this, because that's where I get a lot of questions. If you are thinking about doing something like one of these, what I call just deeper IVs, you know, I usually recommend, outside of course, changing our nutrition and our self-loving practices, doing other IVs like ozone, vitamin C, glutathione, and one of my most favorite IVs is the NAD. And NAD is just such a beautiful molecule and coenzyme that recharges the battery. And we talk a lot about how important it is. We are just this circuitry and this operating battery, and how we feel, how we think and operate kind of depends on how much charge is sitting in there. NAD has the ability to
What's
refill.
NAD stand for?
So nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and it is basically needed to support the mitochondria and to make ATP. ATP is what gives us our energy. And just a little side note, we get our mitochondria and that information from our mothers, not our dads. So I always tell my patients and the men in my life, you have way more feminine energy in you than you think you do. So the ATP, you know, and the NAD stores, they deplete as we get older. And with chronic ailments, you know, the stores are constantly being pulled on. So sometimes we're doing a lot of the right steps to get better, and we just kind of plateau because that place, it's so low, you just need some outside support. And NAD is one of those IVs that can really give that to you. And I love doing that even before we move to this, because that's also going to help decrease the toxic load. It's going to regenerate and rejuvenate. There are clinics that do high doses of NAD. This is how powerful it is. They do high doses for addiction. So someone can go in within 7 to 10 days and you can actually change the neural programming and DNA in your body by doing this type of treatment. We don't necessarily have to do those high doses as an outpatient, but at lower numbers, it can help with depression, anxiety, like I said, chronic fatigue, brain fog, and just overall well-care.
And just so you know, it's like this. You can do, it's like this. So you can do things by eating like an all plant-based diet. You may never get there. You may never get to the results that you want. Like when people say to me, okay, so I've had this surgery, that sickness, this sickness. So if I change to an all plant-based diet, I'll say, yeah, you'll definitely decrease the inflammation, you'll decrease the scar tissue formation, and you will get some repair. But to actually do repair that we need to do things like fasting, water fasting. But just think if you did advanced water fasting, and you actually did proper mind work, and then you did stem cell therapy, and you did them all together. Because remember something, it's the higher the frequency, the more light and the more information in the therapy that it can give the body, the sooner it can erase the old program. Because everything is a program. It starts in the mind first, then goes into the tissues, but then it actually goes in as a habit. And all those 50 trillion cells, they have a habit of sickness or health. So how are you going to get rid of that program? Because it's just a program, and you can rewrite a program. I mean, if we were a computer, you could pull it out, or you could erase it and put a new one in. But with this, it's got to be you've got to do tons of repetition, or you bring in tons of light. So you can take, there are shortcuts in life. You can hack things,
Sure.
right? Yeah.
So I look at this more like, I know you said shortcuts. So for me, and I know Darrell sees this a lot in his practice, when I get a patient in here, you know, the scales have tipped so greatly, and sometimes I have patients that, you know, they're being told they have 3 months to live. You know, we got to get stuff moving quickly. So this isn't about putting a natural Band-Aid on or trying to, you know, go out, like they say, you know, just go out and have a good time and then do an IV to fix that. We're talking about a whole different kind of medicine here. We're really truly talking about bringing support to the body that it needs in such a critical time to assist with all the things. So like he mentioned, when I'm treating a cancer patient, you better believe they're water fasting and doing all those other loving steps. I also know this is going in them because we want to move quickly, and that sometimes is the reality.
And I'll tell you something, I know a little bit really well, and the rest I don't know, and I'll be my whole life trying to learn that. But I will tell you this much, and I say this from my heart. I have people that come to me that are dealing with cancer. I had 2 patients come to me this week that spent in between $30,000 and $50,000 at clinics in Mexico, and they came back and their breast tumors were actually harder and twice the size. Now that should not be happening. But the reality is that you've got to bring so many things all together, like the proper things. It's not how much money you throw at it.
Right.
It's what you do with it.
Yes.
Okay? So I want to say this, and I don't mean to make this like a pitch, but when we start really working with ourselves on an emotional and physical level, like I will tell you, Sage, who is one of our trainers, this couple that came, okay, one of them when I felt it, and I felt her breast, the tissue, it was actually like a piece of pie, where the tumor was about this big, which is not huge.
Right, not huge.
No, and then it went like a piece of pie like this. And actually, I know that that's why we're coming together, and we're gonna work together, because he did only 2 treatments on her, and both treatments were only 25 minutes each. And we reduced the size of it by 65%, no exaggeration. So the reality is you've got to, what happened was when we pulled the fibers apart, we allowed the blood flow in, the lymph flow, but we actually, the light energy, and it changes itself back. Now just think if you were doing this therapy along with that therapy, along with advanced water fasting and eating right, and just
the mindset and loving yourself, and put it all together.
And putting it all together. Yeah, so this is where we're going, and this is energy medicine at its finest.
That's right.
You know, and like I said earlier, a scientific breakthrough is not a health breakthrough. But this is a nutritional scientific breakthrough that I can wrap my head around it, and it's always intrigued me. And then of course the universe sent me Nairi, and I just went, oh my gosh, this is just too good to be true.
Feelings mutual.
Yeah. So this is where we're going, and understand, you know, things that will enhance your life, make you feel better about yourself. You have to take those things for yourself. Yeah. So check out her Vibe Up, everybody.
Yes.
And make sure that you check that out. And make sure if you're coming to Florida, you check her out, right?
Yes, we'd love to have you and support you in any way that we can.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay, see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Have a beautiful day.